All right, you guys are ready. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's been a long time. Great to see you all.
To see you.
We'll start with the meeting agenda. Approval of the August 19, 2025 meeting agenda. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve agenda.
A second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And the approval of the July 14, 2025 meeting minutes. I forgot that's a motion to approve those.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. And on to public comment.
You have any public joining? I think the colors, Amy, I'm assuming.
The caller is actually a transcription service. I don't have any on.
Oh, okay, then we're good.
And I don't have any connected callers for virtual public
Perfect.
Okay, excellent. Public comment. Okay, on to board positions, chair and vice chair.
Awesome. So this is just kind of standard practice. Usually we do it in January, check back in. Sometimes people call it the election of officers, but essentially we just appoint the chair and vice chair for that next year. And so it's just a time to check back in and see how people are feeling in their current roles. And if people feel good, then we roll on.
So are you willing to
Yeah,
continue
I
to
am
serve? I
willing,
guess.
and then I'm also willing if somebody else wants to do it, but I'm very willing, especially since
We
I
haven't really-
done anything for-
Yeah,
I was like, this is the greatest team as chair. Except for-
And Wayne, I think you're vice chair, right? And are you willing to continue as vice chair? Okay.
You want to trade?
No. No.
Hello. Hello. Well, I will make a motion that we continue with our chair and vice chair as currently in office. Oops, there we go, sorry.
Before you second though, do we both have to recuse ourselves? You don't have that?
Well, I think we could do one then the other.
No, because we only have 5 right now.
Well, I think we're fine, we have our quorum, so
Okay.
I don't.
It's not like you're getting benefit of it.
I think it's, yeah, I think
It's
it's.
not like
Yeah,
it's your.
quorum we're stating, the quorum still exists. you're saying.
The quorum still exists, yeah, so I think we're fine with it,
Okay.
so we'll just leave it,
Let's roll with it.
all in, so.
So do we have a second?
Oh, second, yes.
Yes,
because I made
I'll
my-
second.
Okay,
All in favor of maintaining the current chair and vice chair? Say aye.
aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you both, yeah, for being willing to do that again.
All right, sweet.
Okay, board vacancy.
Right, so we still have one board position open, and I think my understanding is that some of the board members are reaching out, like Terry's reaching out, and some other folks are reaching out to folks. This is the position that needs to be, the person has to live in the Hominy, Candler, Arden
Okay.
area.
Okay.
And so that's the one stipulation on the position. And so it sounds like we have some potential for candidates. And so I think we can pause on this vacancy kind of discussion until we get maybe some more applicants.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
that sounds good.
I did talk to David Lee, I think we mentioned that last time, so I did verbally talk with him, and he did say that he specifically is not interested, but he had somebody, at least one in mind, that he thought would be really good, that has the farm connection, so he was gonna reach out to that person. And then I did reach out to some other community members out in that Upper Hominy Candler area that I thought either might be interested or would certainly know people. And so I'm hopeful that some of those, so that's why I was on there trying to navigate through our application so I could just get it to them directly and everything. So I think we should have by our next meeting, because I told them that they need to get it in within the
I
next
think we'll
couple
get
of
them
weeks.
as soon as they can. Yeah, that'd be the best.
Yeah.
We just, and so I'll check back in with the clerk to the board and get those applications
Okay.
and share them before the next meeting.
Okay.
And then we'll have kind of a wider pool of applicants.
And if anybody else knows somebody in that area that Ariel just mentioned, please reach out to them and let them know, because we've tried a few times on this
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's been a hard
It's
one.
been a
Yeah.
hard one for us,
So, perfect. Then we'll be fully membered,
yeah.
staffed, whatever. And I just remembered, I don't know if you were at the July meeting, this is our new farmland preservation coordinator.
Thanks.
This is Martha.
Nice to meet you too, Martha.
She's been with us for, I think everyone else yeah, and I introduced her to Ann, but, for the last meeting, but she's been here for 7 weeks-ish.
Almost 2 months, yeah.
You're
She's just amazing.
seasoned
We're
now.
so awesome. So she came from a land trust out in the Franklin area, so has easement experience already, and just awesome so far, so good. So
Fantastic.
very excited about it.
Like the county hired.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, yeah,
Me too.
yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, board vacancy, thank you. VAD and EVAD projects.
Yeah, so there's only 2 applications that need to be approved today. They're 2 EVAD applications. One is Janet Peterson and then Diane Rossiter. Yeah, pretty simple.
Both of these, we'll be planning, I believe, to do some good cost share work, and so getting them into the EVAD.
Oh, both are EVAD.
Yes.
Okay. I missed that part. Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. And we'll move on to farmland preservation board.
All right, so, we'll do this farmland preservation report, and then next kind of steps, we'll pivot into, our new projects. But this kind of gives you a glimpse at, some of the projects that we're preparing for the project review process. So we've been working closely with, Jeff Barnt, Ray Wilson, Morgan Branch Farm, and Neil Grogan and Wayne Brown, on starting up these easement projects. So our hope is that majority of those will be able to be funded with this new agricultural growth zone grant that we got awarded this past fall. And so just kind of a reminder about that grant. Here are the kind of the numbers associated with that. So it was a little under $2 million that was allocated to Buncombe County, to our farmland preservation program, to be matched with the open space bond funds. So this past February, I went to the commissioners meeting, requested that bond fund match to be secured. So that's already allocated. So essentially we have 4.2 million to be spent within our conservation focus areas. And so our goal as staff is to work to allocate that 4.2 to as many projects as we can, because we have a contract deadline for those funds of 2027. So that's our goal. You may or may not have seen the state has kind of sent out their notice about this fall's application cycle. And so our kind of plan going forward for this year and potentially next year is to focus on making sure that we get all of these funds allocated. It's a great opportunity for us to get to reserve a large pot of money, and our hope is to implement it beautifully so that we can ask again for the agricultural growth zone grant. And so, that being said, there may still be some projects coming up that are not within those conservation focus areas that are still just fantastic projects that we would bring forward just for open space bond funds. And so, but this slate of projects will be majority agricultural growth zone matched with bond. The exception for that is this Jeff Barnt property. It is outside of the conservation focus area, and we'll talk about this in a second when you get to see the slides, but it is a high priority parcel, and we'll talk about that. It's sandwiched in the game lands.
Just one question.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I think I had asked you about this, but I think it's good just to understand. So explain the reason that we're not going after
Mhm.
the typical grant funds on these projects. I know that we have these funds, but there's a reason that you want to use these funds first before going after additional grant funds.
Absolutely. Well, two big reasons. One, if we don't allocate these funds and close the projects by 2027, then we lose those funds. Not the bond funds, but the match. So it is a contract deadline.
From the
So
state, those
from the
funds
state, those state matching
Okay.
dollars will be lost. And then
Okay.
I think it will harm our chances of saying, hey, we need another 2 million
Okay.
for the next few years.
Okay.
In addition to that, the state grant has gotten incredibly competitive.
Mhm.
My understanding was this past year they had over 100 applications,
Mhm.
and with the money that they had, they were able to, I mean, nothing's been decided passed, but 6 of those
Mhm.
out of 100 and some. So this is actually the best opportunity we have to be able to have a good amount of funds come to our easements and not have to go through this really competitive process where we're competing against farms that are 100% prime soils down east, and we could apply and throw 4 projects out at the state grant and not get awarded one of them when we have this opportunity where really it's a kind of it's not a similar process, but the process for getting these agricultural growth zone projects approved at the state level, so we still have to submit some basic criteria for each project. The state reviews them, and that review process is a month, maybe.
Okay.
Where typically with this state grant cycle that happens every year, you apply, everything's submitted in December, you're not getting that approval till maybe the next November, December. So there's a year waiting time of the review process, and so that's another year added to the landowner's wait process too. So all in all, I think we've been bouncing back and forth on the ideas, and this is the idea we've come up with. It's like really showing that we have the need, allocate these funds, work to close out those projects quickly so that we can then.
So there's a potential to then apply for another
Yes.
growth zone grant. Okay, which is great. I mean, like if we're able, especially if we're with being able to put those bond funds, because you had to have the matching funds.
Yeah, it's a one-to-one required match.
But yeah, it's wonderful to be able to do it that way. And so then, even if we select, say we go through our typical process, just so I understand here, and say we select all of these farms and like, okay, these are the ones that we want to do and put forward, then those still have to go to the state for a review process. That's the 1 month process.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, and I'm saying 1 month because we just submitted the first one, and that's the next one on this list, the Agricultural Growth Zone Slocum project. I don't know if you remember, 2 years ago, we submitted Slocum for NCDA. It was denied. And so, but we already had county transaction cost budget for it. The board had already approved it as a project. So we went ahead a couple months ago and submitted it as our first agricultural growth zone project. So, and it got approved.
Okay.
And so I'm basing it off of the fact that it took about 1 month for us to hear back from them.
Okay.
And so yes, around a month to hear from agricultural growth zone. We then put it on the commissioner's agenda, get that. Although it's already allocated, in this AGZ bond match, we still have to go to the commissioners and, ask to formally have it allocated. And so then at that point, we'd have the transaction and the easement purchase for this project. So much shorter timeline, a few months rather than 12 months. So, and then, so
Okay.
that's the plan for us. But
Are those 6 you mentioned, or are those all down east? you think?
One of them, my understanding, Warren Wilson ranked one of their easements, so they have 4 that they're working with Southern Appalachian on. One of them ranked top.
They're fine.
The first, yeah. But I'm not sure if any of the other 3, but I know that 2 of the 6 were in the mountains.
Okay.
So, yeah, which, that's, that's good. And I think what they do is they rotate it. They do top in the mountains, top in the Piedmont, top in the coast. So that's why it ended up as 2. I'm guessing the other 4, 2 were Piedmont, 2 were coast.
Okay.
So that there's some regional,
equitability, is that a policy of theirs?
It is a policy of theirs, and that's been of benefit to us in the past because the feds, their easement program does not do that, and so it ends up all in the east, unless we have just like a miracle here. We've had 100% prime soil projects get denied from the feds. We never get those projects. So, anyways, so yeah, that's the plan moving forward. In the next month or so, we plan to bring the Slocum project for 25% bond funds, knowing that 25% is already secured from agricultural growth zone. And so the commissioners will see that over the next.
Can you remind us of the Slocum project?
Yep, I have on the presentation, I have a
okay.
slide just kind of giving you a glimpse.
Okay.
So we'll get deeper in all of that in a second. And just a bit of a reminder, I several years ago did a farm succession coordinator certification, and I just got that renewed for another 3 years. So that's exciting. I'm still a certified coordinator.
Okay, that's good, because in our strategic plan that we're proposing, there was a goal.
Exactly. Yeah, so we'll make sure we got that. And our goal is that hopefully next year, when we have more training funding within our department budget, we'll be able to get Martha also certified to be able to do that work too. All right, so also working with the LCAB board to project and plan the calendar of the land trust projects that are coming up over the next year to LCAB, and we are projecting around 1.3 million from the bond to be requested from LCAB, and that one Jeffrey Barnes project is included in that as well. So and that has been communicated to the folks overseeing the open space bond, that we have those anticipated commitments coming up, just so that that's within their projections.
Oh, good.
All right, so then just some basic project updates, since it's been such a long time since we've met. Let's see. Okay, so Kestrel, Herb, Battle, and Sandy Holler all kind of got started around the same time. They all have easement purchase funding approved from the bond. So we are finishing up surveys on those three, doing environmental assessments as well as their baseline documentation reports. And then title and deed work are also all in the works there. Since those are bond only projects, we're able to move at a kind of a quicker speed with those three as well.
Okay, good.
The Okoboji Farm project is also a bond project, and that is also getting to the finish line. We are in the process of finalizing the deed and title work on that, but also moving forward on that piece. The Southern Appalachian Farm expansion is still at the same place. Southern Appalachian is still dealing with the landowner disputed area, so that has no update there, unfortunately. Splendor Valley Farm out in Sandy Mush, we have finally got the subordination agreement signed.
Wow.
That is a win and a half.
We said that one years ago.
Yes, it took them 2 years to get a refinance and to subordinate. So very excited about that. Updating a bunch of documents because it's been so long. The grant is requiring that, and we hope to be moving forward to closing in the next couple months. Tone Holler, I'm not sure exactly where where we were last time we met with this one, but we did an expansion on this one. It was one parcel, and then the landowners acquired 2 more parcels. So this is Amy Worthen and Jason Krekel.
Was that Barnesville?
Kind of Barnes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's on kind of off of Paint Fork Road that goes from Reeves Creek to Barnesville. It's kind of in that meet in the middle, but it's.
I think I walked with you on that one.
Yes,
we were there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's kind of that to me.
Yeah, so it's a great project. It's a donation easement. They acquired 2 adjacent parcels. We added those into the project, and during the title work on those 2 projects, we found that one of those parcels had basically our attorney failed to be able to prove clear title on that property. At this point, we'd already because it was an addition, the survey had been done, and the landowners still want to protect it. So we talked with Amy, right here, and our other attorney doing the title work on it, and came up with a solution, essentially continuing to protect the 3 parcels, but now making it 3 separate easements. So should the parcel with the title issue someone ever come and say, I own this property, even though, there's no proof around that, it wouldn't affect the other 2 parcels. It would be, and it's because it's a donation easement and the funds had already been spent to do the survey, the landowners are not going to claim any kind of tax benefit on that parcel. We're just going to keep that piece simple and call it a donation, like a full donation, no claiming of benefits.
Doesn't cost us any more.
Doesn't cost us any more, no.
Okay. What's the total acreage with all 3?
Oh, my brain. I want to say 40. It was a 26 acre or so, and it almost doubled the acreage.
Okay.
And so yeah, it was a great way to solve it. I think all parties are okay with it and excited to move that forward. And so we're really close to closing at this point, a couple months away with that one as well. And the Parham Fortner closed on Friday. So that was our first open space bond funded project to get to completion. So that is very exciting.
Did you do any photos, hopefully, and we can share that?
Yes.
It's one of our
Yes,
fun
we
projects.
we have a photo of the closing and we sent it to Sybil and Avril and some other folks within the county, but we can do a PR, piece on that too, because that's an exciting one. And then the next 3 are really still in review with NCDA. And we'll talk about the Fisher Farm in a minute when we move to closed session to do some project specific discussions. And then also the Sluter Farm is closing next Friday. And so that's another piece, very exciting. We're trying to move these.
Beaver Dam?
Beaver Dam, yeah.
Beaver Dam over at Candler Beaver Dam. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, good. The Rogers one.
Mhm.
Now, NCDA has approved this, right? We had the
Oh, yeah.
funding. It's just they're reviewing all the documents.
Yes, we're in the process of document review. We believe that the Rogers Farm Trust Tract, which is the larger 160-ish acre tract, will close before the David Rogers tract. There's one title issue that came up on David Rogers, and so we're working with the family on sorting that piece out. But I anticipate, typically when we do a 2-piece project, but it's one big family, we try to close at the same time. But I think with this one, we'll probably have a staggered closing, and that's fine. So yes.
Okay.
We're getting much closer on the farm trust one. Okay. All righty. That's all for that, just general project report. Let's see. Okay, so we can go into closed session and discuss a couple of the other projects, and then come out and do the presentation, or do you want to go ahead and do the presentation?
Do we need the information in the presentation to help us make decisions?
No.
No.
The presentation is all on new projects.
Okay.
The closed session is on existing projects.
Your preference.
Huh?
Your preference.
Let's go ahead and do the closed session.
Okay.
So
All right. We need to vote for that, or no, we just go?
we do. We have a
Motion.
special.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session and Amy can say the technical aspect.
Going to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statutes 143-318, 11A25.
Beautiful. And Angelica, did
Second.
you do your magic?
Okay.
Sorry to be bossy.
No, it's great having you here.
You should come every time, right?
I know. I think
Here
so.
when you call me.
I know.
People are being mean to me.
Amy,
Old people are being no.
I'm not to fall in that category.
We just won't accept any grumpy old men.
Yeah.
I won't be grumpy. I'll get beat up.
We have the new bond, ATC project presentation.
Awesome.
Ariel and Mike.
Sweet. Okay, so this we are gonna roll through to, oops, popping off that screen, to the handful of new projects that we are proposing for your, or bringing to you for review. So majority of these projects were slated for October of 2024, and so have been postponed since the storm. So this is just kind of a brief glance at all the projects together. So the last three had originally been applied for as one larger property, or one larger project, the Morgan Branch Farm out on Morgan Branch Road. And so, but since discussing with landowners as well as the best way to apply for funds for these properties, we decided to break them into 3 separate easement projects. And with the significant acreage of them, it makes sense, and they are 3 separate parcels.
Okay.
So just to, those are not all new, that's just kind of one big project divided up into 3. And so just the one piece to call out here, majority of these projects are in the Newfound area. The Jeffrey Barnt project is not for consideration under the Agricultural Growth Zone grant. It would just be open space bond because it is not within one of those conservation focus areas. Our conservation focus areas do not actually encompass the Sandy Mush Game Lands.
Really?
Yeah. So that could be something we decide we want to shift in the future if we want to do that. But that, well, we can show you later on the map.
Okay,
that
and that's,
piece.
because I would have thought, because Alexander is one of our rural areas and we have all.
Yeah,
the-
I know. And
I would have thought
Mark,
that
can
would
you
have been in it.
point, it's just slightly outside
Yeah, it's
of,
on the edge.
of that conservation focus area.
Oh, so I mean, it's right beside it.
Yeah.
But
The
because of that,
stipulation-
it can't use that state funding, the agricultural growth zone?
Right. The stipulations around that, those funds they have to be within these 4 designated areas.
Okay,
Unfortunately.
Okay. well, it's it's right on the river and it's right
Yes.
there at the game land.
Exactly. You can see in this next slide that it is like a puzzle piece
Yeah.
surrounded by game lands. And this has been on the, this has been on the radar of Southern Appalachian and our,
Mhm.
lots of folks have been talking about it.
Yeah.
We also recently talked to this landowner here, the next door neighbor. And at the moment she's decided she does not want to proceed it with an easement, but I think that she'll keep thinking about it.
Okay.
But that's
The Barnt is open space only funds.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's about 65 acres. It was originally in the Shelton Farm, which is that adjacent landowner. And Jeffrey has lived out there for over 20 years now and recently was able to purchase it from the Sheltons. And so, lots of knowledge about the property. We've been living there for quite a while. And as you can see, borders the French Broad River.
Mhm. Okay.
This is a really good example of how we're talking about petitions to partition and breaking up. How you get pieces of land like this that are super ziggy-zaggy is that as they've just been subdivided and subdivided, that's how this happens.
Exactly.
So that's
The
right.
interesting boundary lines. Yeah.
Right.
Because it was all the shelter.
At some point,
Yes.
it was one big piece.
Yeah.
And then as it got passed down to different heirs, they had to figure out, ways to give people property. This is sort of the opposite of Downton Abbey, where no, it's serious. It's why land has to get passed down, at least at that time, in one chunk to the oldest heir. It's to avoid this situation.
Right. Exactly. I mean, the other piece of this is I don't think Jeffrey would ever do this, but if he sold to a developer and they developed in the middle of the game lands, like the value of that property with protected lands around it, it would just be like,
Well, and just so others, because I've gone out to the game lands several times and met like with the state and different folks, and like part of what happens is, right, the game lands there's multiple uses. Part of it clearly game lands, right? It is for hunting, and some of these weird pieces like this, it makes it more challenging because it doesn't just impact that little piece of property. It impacts all the game lands around it, and it limits because of how, different state regulations and things like that of where you can do some of what they need to do in the game lands. So it's, this has been a key piece that, as you said, that from the state's perspective of the game land, Southern App and all that. So it's definitely an important piece there of this puzzle.
it is for sure. All right, so that's just kind of a brief overview. Just a reminder, we'll go through all these projects, kind of an overview showing their project details as well as their proximity to other protected lands, and then the next step will be for us to schedule farm visits so you guys can have a chance to go out and meet some of the landowners and see the property, and then they'll come back to that September board meeting and we'll get to meet them there. Okay, so this is the next property. This is Ray Wilson, the Wilson Farm out Lower Brush Creek Road in Fairview. So this is 100% prime soil.
Oh, wow,
You
good.
never ever see that. It's very exciting. So it's a crop production, tomato, squash, peppers. It's pretty close. It's very close actually to the Okoboji easement. We'll see that maybe in a second. And it's in that Fairview Fletcher Conservation Focus Area. He wants to exclude all of the built areas that has 3 houses on it. He's just going to have that as an exclusion on the easement, and then we would have a planned farm sit area here so that we would allow some farm buildings within that area. In addition to this, he is communicating with his neighbor that owns these crop fields that he also leases. And so hoping he's hoping to plant the seed with that neighbor and that they would be interested in as well. So that would be a lot of really great bottomland protected for future farms.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, so that is that piece. And you can see here, this is the Okoboji is the Okoboji easement. If you're familiar with the Lower Brush Creek area, Tony Nesbitt's dairy is just right, or was, right in this area. And so it's a lot of these fields.
And that we never were able to get that worked out, were we?
Well, not that tract, but yeah, he had a tract that was down the road, or off of Cane Creek that we did protect, that has since been sold to someone else.
What's the B? Remind me. Oh,
B is a Southern Appalachian easement, Thomas T.
Okay.
So, and then for kind of, I guess your reference, this is Cane Creek Road. And then this is, so if you look back over here, this is Cane Creek that goes through the property. And it has this section had some restoration work done on it. And he was very excited to show that off. He was very happy with how it's going.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, that's great to have, 100% prime soils. That's really important for future food production.
And it's a smaller, 20 acres is kind of a smaller parcel for us, but 20 acres of that amazing soils could be like, an incredible, vegetable operation. So anyways, and it's, all right, so next up is the Wayna Brown Farm. So this is off of this road you're seeing here is Newfound Road. And so these are 2 tracts that are not adjacent, but are both owned by Wayna. And so, and with, combined, they're about 73% prime soils. Currently, they're in hay, and Newfound Creek is running through this hay field.
Give me a crossroad.
Okay, Browntown is right here.
Show me Browntown again. Oh, okay.
Right there's Browntown.
Okay.
So,
okay, gotcha.
so this is, this right here is, I believe, well, we'll see it in the next page, adjacent to Lynn Brown's.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
So that's
Oh,
really
yeah.
great. And this is another easement that we hold. And then, there's Ruby Brown Farm right here, which could be a cool next step. And that's Wayna's sister. So Wayna,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think her name's Ruby. I think that was a family member. But the woman that has Ruby Brown, and then Tamara Grogan, I can't remember exactly.
Oh, they're all sisters.
They're all sisters.
Yeah.
And so that'll be the next project we show you. But so Wayna and then Neil and Tamara, I think, they all came to us at the same time together, interested in talking about this. So I think, so this one is actually just one farmstead area, right here. And there's no existing buildings on the property. And so,
and they just want the farmstead.
They just want a farmstead area.
Okay.
Yeah, her house is right here. So she lives on an adjacent parcel. She's not protecting that parcel because she's going to keep that aside.
Okay.
But that's the plan.
Oh, that's pretty good farm soils too.
Yes.
In that area. Yeah, that's good. And especially since it's right next to Lynn Brown's as well.
Exactly. So there's that proximity map. And then the next project is we're calling it Neil Grogan Farm. But it was Tamara's family land that they moved into. So this is 64% prime soils, which is also pretty good. We have Newfound Creek going through the property as well. And this is, okay, let's see. I believe this is a separate parcel where their house is, so that's not part of the easement. Right. They have a farmstead area reserved here around this existing barn. And then they have plans to exclude, there's 2 existing house sites here. The plan is to exclude those because they would not be part of the easement.
Okay.
That's an okay exclusion because it's right by the road. It makes sense. The other piece is that we found that there is a buried oil tank for one of those houses, and for the state funding, they want that excluded. And then this is another by the road piece that has a barn on it, but they hope to also exclude that piece. And so they would have 3 excluded areas.
Which is kind of off to the side anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird section as well. And then so there's a couple other existing barns there, but we've worked back and forth with the landowners before coming to the board to try and minimize the impacts on the easement. But with a good farmstead area, a couple other existing barns, and some crop fields and pasture land, it is only 23 acres, but it is relatively close. Well, you'll be able to see it's within a little ways from the other parcels we just talked about.
So the 2 A's are the Waynas?
Correct.
Okay.
And B is Lynn Brown.
Right.
So there's kind of that snapshot of the Neil Grogan farm. Okay. Now we'll pivot into the Moorhead Branch properties. So this property, these 3 properties are jointly owned by 4 or 5 different family landowners, sorry. And so we've been in discussion with them over the last year or 2, trying to figure out what works best for them. Is this the direction they want to go in? And it seems like this is the direction they're wanting to proceed with. I say that, just when you have multiple property owners, things are complicated too. So we're proceeding, not with caution, but carefully. Okay, so this parcel we're calling this easement A, but this is what they refer to as a family as the dairy barn property. So this is 112 acres, 66% prime soils. It's, about a half mile from the Jasperwood farm easements that we recently closed. They have 3 existing farmstead areas. As you can see, A, B, and C are existing farmstead areas where they have barns and other structures. And so we're just designating those as farmstead areas so that they'll be able to, repair and rebuild, and add future farm-related structures in those areas if they need to. And then this small green area, you can probably barely see it right there, thank you, is an existing house site, and then they would like to reserve this and this as 2 future house sites. There's also an old cemetery here. We have to find the exact location to better represent it on the map. We wanted to note that. We've had cemeteries on past easements. It's not an issue. People have to have access to go visit cemeteries. So we make sure that that's part of the process.
So the existing home site is in the red?
The little green.
No, it's the little green.
Yeah.
That's the, okay, so that's the
it's an
existing.
old family farmhouse or something.
Okay, and then the 2 future home sites are?
The orange and the red.
Okay, the orange and the red, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is that.
And
Go ahead.
And who actually, because I know there's multiple family members, so who has title to this property?
So it's Neil and Ava Morgan, Marcia and
Did we went to see their
We
place?
did, we
Yes, that
enjoyed
was
the
the-
apples.
yes, and that was the other parcel that they owned.
Okay,
So
so we were on the other parcel.
correct.
Okay,
So that was their, they just solely owned that, Neil and
okay,
Ava.
okay,
This is now is a family land that had originally, the way the family works is there were 3 brothers.
Yeah.
And so each line that came from the 3 brothers now owns this. So
multiple families.
the ownership is Neil and Ava Morgan, Marcia Moorhead and Martin Morgan, they're siblings. And then Dale Morgan, which would, I believe, pass then to Shannon. And so that's the kind of the 3 lines. So they all own it together.
Okay,
And my understanding is in a sense, everybody uses the properties kind of a little bit here and there, but there are certain family members that manage the majority of each of these parcels. And so that's kind of how.
and so they're all of these are involved in this conversation and
Correct.
have participated, 'cause
Yes.
that's a lot.
Exactly. It's
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah.
We had a meeting with them last September here in the neutral space. It went well, and that's when they kind of first decided they want to move forward. And I believe that they all met as a family a couple weeks ago,
Okay.
and discussed the specifics of these locations.
Okay.
And so we're going back and forth, giving them the revised map. We met with Ava yesterday, getting more specifics. And so yeah, there's kind of some back and forth still happening. And yeah.
Okay.
But yes, our goal would be that before spending county money, we would ensure that they're ready to proceed and have signed letters of intent. Last fall, we did get signed letters of intent from all the family members. But I think once we actually started, we would probably do that again.
Okay.
All right, so this is Morgan Branch Farm Parcel B, which is called the other place. So 85 acres. This is off of Newfound Road, directly across from the the Jasperwood Anthony Cole farm. And so if you know where Dale Morgan's house is, this is his house right here. And so it's all the property up. So you'll see on this property, and I believe I should have mentioned it on this property, that they have done a stream mitigation easement. And so this section in the middle that looks like it's following, the flow lines of of the property, that is a stream easement that is held by another entity. So it would technically be an exclusion
Mhm,
on our easement, but the whole property would be protected.
mhm. It's one of those mitigation
Correct.
projects.
Yeah.
That was happening when we went to see it.
Correct. Yeah. And it's been going for like 7 years.
Mhm.
And so this as well, you can see, is also that protected easement. So
Mhm.
there's breaks in the easement so that they can access the other parts. As you can see there and here, they can have a road to access the other part of the easement. So that piece is well planned for future agricultural needs, and so that's
Mhm.
good with us. Okay, so this is the 85 acres off of Newfound Road, 43% prime soils. We have just one farmstead area and one house site, and so that blue is our future farmstead area, and the red is the house site. And this is a proposed road. There's already an existing road here going through, and then we just wanted to show you that there would need to be access to drive up to those sites. So that one's fairly simple. I think we'll show in a second. You'll see this parcel here. That's the Jasper Wood easement. So it really provides a lot of contiguous
And
protection.
all the Morgan Branch ones touch each other.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
goes over the
that's showing
mountain.
all three.
That's showing all three and how they
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
work together. Exactly. And actually, I don't know the exact location of off the top of my head of this, the Neil and Eva parcel, but it was not one of these. I think it was kind of that area. Okay, the last parcel, Morgan Branch C. This is what they call Dave's Place. My understanding is this wasn't originally family land, but they acquired it back in the 20s. And so that's why they call it Dave's Place. Okay, slightly less prime soils, but this is used for cattle and hay. Newfound Creek also runs through this property, and as you can see, this is that stream easement. So there's one existing house site, so it's not even a new house site, it's an existing one. And then this is the farmstead area that they're proposing. So there already is a building here, and this, well, it looks like it's a graded area. There actually is a building there now that was has been built since this aerial photography. And we did this kind of weird connection piece because that is one of the crossings of the stream easement. So we wanted to make sure that those two farmstead areas were connected with access through. So.
And this doesn't front Newfound Road, does it?
This is on Morgan Branch Road.
Morgan Branch, okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
And so, yeah, because if we look here, this is Newfound Road here,
Yeah.
and here's Morgan Branch. So yeah, that is off of Morgan Branch Road.
Okay.
And so yeah, that is, that's kind of the gist on that one.
And so
You're fine.
no one's living on that one current, or somebody is living on that one currently?
So there is an existing house site. I'm not sure if it's being lived in
Okay.
right now, but there's that.
And is this owned by all the family members?
Yes.
Like the first one was owned by?
All three
All
are owned
three.
by all.
Oh, all three of them?
Yeah.
I thought the second one was just Dale's.
No, it is, so Dale's right here in front, so he owns that as a little separate parcel,
Oh,
but
that's
this
why.
whole parcel is also owned by all of those family
Okay,
members.
thanks for the clarification. Okay. So basically, they're looking at doing conservation on the pieces of property that they all jointly.
Correct. They also have the interest in it, I don't have it presented here, but they have another parcel that they all jointly own as well. They call it the Bear Wallow Tract, but you can kind of see it from Anthony Coles. It's currently landlocked. They don't have legal access, and they're working on getting it. I told them, they said if they get legal access, would we consider it as a donation easement? And I said yes. And so their homework is to work through getting legal access, and then we would bring it for consideration.
Okay.
And there's a pond there or something that's flooded, is that place? Like
Yes.
the dam broke?
Yes. Yeah.
Each of these tracks have a riparian easement on it.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So that acreage would be excluded. And so right now, we are getting an estimate from our appraiser on the values of those three so that we can share it at the next meeting. And so that the landowners can get a glimpse of what the funding might look like. Okay, and then lastly is just a reminder, we talked about the Slocum project. This was a majority, it is all forested project off South Turkey Creek.
We went there
This
that same day.
was, and they have a connection to your farm where I think the Slocum family maybe previously owned it, and he has fun stories about walking all the way to Sluter Branch, South Turkey Creek to Sluter Branch, and driving cows, I think, all the way out there in the summers. And so this has been approved by Agricultural Growth Zone. This is the funding that they've approved, and so now we'll go to the bond and ask for exactly that same amount of funding, because that's 25% of that easement. So,
Okay, so that was the amount they approved of the agricultural growth zone, and so you'll be
Yes.
coming to ask for that same amount.
yes, and so you can see in the proximity to the protected lands down in the corner here, that it is contiguous to another protected parcel, as well as all of the sandy mush, protection. So it really adds to that piece.
Okay.
And so, yeah, and they just want to reserve a future house site in a small farmstead area by the road. And so, just as a reminder, we did get preliminary title searches. Oops, sorry. Ugh. Okay, we can take a quick glance. This is like the glance at some of the numbers for the ones that we have appraisals for. But we did get that preliminary title review, and we will bring this back in September after we've done the visits and all of that, and have the Morgan properties easement purchase estimate.
And this is the total easement purchase
Correct.
estimate.
So the ones that are AGZ and bond funds, when we bring them back in September, we'll show the actual amount we'd be asking from the bond and the actual amount that we'd be getting from AGZ funding. But yeah, all the attorney has said that there's no title impediment that would, stop us from proceeding with these projects. Okay, sorry, I know this is a longer meeting, but just a reminder, farm visits, that's our next step. So take a peek at your calendars for these 2 days. This is our proposed schedule. And yeah, actually, now that I'm saying this, can you check the calendar? I feel like I've got these 2 dates. I think I told the Morgans the 5th yesterday. Do you remember that? I want to make sure.
I can definitely do the 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, I can.
Okay, and these are what?
So these are, so we're pretty much blocking both days off. And the hope is that Thursday, we can start early and we can either meet here and I drive you guys around, or we can meet on the farm. But Thursday would be Newfound area, and then Friday would be starting in Alexander and then heading to Fairview. So Terry, you said you could do 4th?
I can do the 4th, definitely.
Okay. And we just need a couple board members, that's the goal. I mean, we can't have 5 because it would be a meeting.
I don't know, I don't do a digital calendar.
No, that's good. No
Real
worries.
one.
It's the Mountain State Fair on Friday for the opening. Otherwise, I'd be there.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, but I go have breakfast with Commissioner Troxler and talk about ag.
There you go.
Yay.
Perfect.
Hey, while you're in Alexander, I can recommend the rail bike tour.
Oh,
Excellent.
cool. I didn't
You recommend
even
the what?
realize that was
The rail bike tour.
Oh. And where is this?
It's in Alexander.
Oh, is it?
I can do 9 to 5.
perfect. All right. And then I think Steve said that he could do one of the days too, but I need to confirm that. So,
I can probably do some things and join too if they need to know.
okay, sweet. Sweet. Awesome. I'll follow back up with an email, with the specifics to get, you make sure others have a chance too. But that's the plan for next steps is that. And then once we do those farm visits, we'll invite the landowners to the September board meeting, which is on the 16th. And then we'll excuse the landowners and we can discuss projects, and determine next steps. And then once those next steps have happened, we can start the agricultural growth zone process. And then the hope is that we hear back from that, and then we can bring these projects to the commissioners for approval. And then we'll have all secured funding and we'll be able to roll.
And ballot to the commissioners by,
I mean, Dream World December.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the other piece.
okay,
Just to see where you're feeling. We know that the basic criteria that the agricultural growth zone requires is met by all of these projects, because the standard is PUV acreage, you know, that type of thing. So we can do it in two ways. We can apply for agricultural growth zone grant, get approved, knowing that they've approved them as projects before bringing them to the commissioners, or we can bring them to the commissioners right away after you've voted on them, and then simultaneously go for agricultural growth zone. It just depends. Is it better to bring it to the commissioners with the secured agricultural growth zone grant?
think about it, and then, because we could discuss that at
Yeah.
our next meeting, think about it about logistically
Yeah.
for you all, like, is it?
Would it
pros
be
and
more
cons?
attractive though to the commissioners if there was already funding secured?
Which technically
Would they be more likely to
secured.
approve on?
Well, I think what, if I'm understanding Ariel correctly, we kind of already know, because they're pre-vetting these, that
Yeah.
there's that funding. So that they would certainly state that to us.
Yeah.
Right, that they've been pre-vetted. But just think about it
We
more
can think
like,
about it. I mean, I know that like it would be like around December when we'd be bringing them to the commissioners if
Yeah.
we did AGC approval first, and
and
we
just
usually
remember,
just
we
have like one meeting in
often
December.
just have one meeting.
Okay, that was my concern. Okay, we'll figure that out and bring you kind of that decision or proposal, and then yeah, that's the next steps proposed for all of those projects.
Those are
Got some
exciting.
good ones.
Thanks for your good work. Yeah, those were good. Oh, I'll make a motion that we could, Amy, see if I do this correctly, that we move our public comment to the end, since we have,
Just moving to amend the agenda.
moving to amend the agenda to move public comment to the end in case our guests would like to share anything with us.
Excellent. We have a second?
Yeah.
Second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys. We just want to make sure you had an opportunity to.
Thanks for having us sit in here. I wanted to come because I moved here 4 years ago and I live in Arden, so I've noticed like a lot of development happening. And I was just curious what we do in the area to protect some of the land so that it doesn't end up just useless things.
Yeah.
I feel like it gets like overpopulated and there's no protection for any of the animals in the land, or, you know, how it used to be. So I bought an old house too, so I didn't buy one of those new houses that got developed. So I was just wanted to sit in and kind of see what we do on all the farms that you guys are acquiring. The people stay there and continue to do work, and it's like now protected land from the purchase of farm.
Yeah. Well, and so the landowners, they still own the land.
Okay.
So that they're still that private landowner, and we are compensating them for essentially their development rights. So
Okay.
they can still sell the property, but it stays protected throughout the next, ownership and
That's what
on.
the easement does.
Correct.
Yeah, wonderful. That's
Yeah.
really what I wanted to know. That's my question of all the notes that I wrote down. That's my question.
Yeah, so it protects it. They can continue to farm it. They continue to make management decisions.
Yeah.
Really, they need to check in with us as issues come up or as they want to build in these kind of planned building areas. Otherwise, the rest of the property is.
So even the people who own the property are protected from doing anything on the land?
Yes.
They just
Essentially,
have
yeah.
those designated areas.
Most of us have.
Yes.
Most of us on the board.
Yeah.
Have done
An
this.
easement on their property.
Our land.
under this.
Yeah, so we have lots of wealth of information or of experience here with them.
And so the property owner, just so you know, like they can then sell the land, leave it to their children, do anything like that. But the conservation easement stays with that property because that's a legal deed. And so that property then is always protected from development. The only development that can happen, as you saw, is like when we have a farmstead area, right? Or we reserved on some of them a few house sites for their kids, grandkids, whatever.
Yeah.
And but those are the only places that then can be developed on that property.
And occasionally we get an exclusion, it's an actual riparian, stream.
Right.
Where they've done conservation work and that's a carve out, but it's a great.
That was on that Mormon.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. All right, cool. Thank you guys for letting us sit in.
Absolutely.
Come join us anytime.
What's your name? Sorry, sir. His name is Jaden.
But thanks for coming.
I'll probably just watch online next time because I was working and just took half the day to kind of see what was going on. But do you guys have any volunteer work or anything that is done?
Yeah, that's a good question. As of right now, no, but we can think about it.
And you said you live in Arden.
I do, yeah.
Just so you know, we do, if you're interested in serving on the board, there is an open seat and we're taking applications for that. And so Ariel could get your name and send you applications.
I have
So
your card.
oh, you have it, perfect.
I'll
So,
email you.
and so we always meet at this time each month.
In person,
In person.
Yeah, I would be able to make that work with my job. I work from home and if I needed to do something during a time, I can make it happen.
Sweet. Yeah.
So all the board members are volunteer.
Okay.
Yeah. When you said volunteer, I was like,
Yeah, that was.
Oh, right. I didn't even think about
That
that.
is. I don't either.
No.
Oh, right.
Y'all aren't getting paid?
It seems like work, so.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem like volunteer.
If you're interested in volunteer opportunities, get your hands dirty. We don't have any right now.
Yeah.
You could look with local land trusts, so
Okay.
Southern Appalachian Highlands Conservancy, Conserving Carolina. They might have volunteer opportunities. You could go out in the field and do invasive species
Yes,
removal,
exactly.
or things like that. So
And on the ground.
Yeah, true.
yeah, that's a great point. Southern App, I know, has lots of opportunities. And they're one of our key partners in conservation.
I'm glad something's being done because people really seem to want to just develop and develop. And
Yeah.
it's not, the mountains need to kind of be left to themselves as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, and we went through this comprehensive planning process a couple years ago where we, the planning department and with lots of public engagement, thought through how it's best to use the different areas of the county. And that's how we ended up with these conservation focus areas that are at the, kind of edges of the county. Unfortunately, I don't think that the Arden area is encompassed. And so it's probably more of the planned for future, housing, other development opportunities, but,
Which has to be, people have to listen.
there are, unfortunately, they still.
Also happen, I was noticing all these parcels being sold and developed as I moved here in the last 4 years, and I'm like, it's okay, this land's for sale, what land is protected, so that's how I ended up here.
There's a lot of great farming historically down there that was developed a long time ago.
Yes.
I was familiar with many of the things I buy all of my meat at Hickory Neck Gap. I don't know if that's a good place or a bad place or how people locally feel about it, but I've had good experiences so far, and some of the farms I was like, I've driven by that or I've seen that, and I'm on Hickory.
Absolutely.
And Hickory
All
Neck
of
Gap,
that is protected.
a lot of their property is protected, a lot of their farm, they put in conservation easement.
Well, it's good to know that about them.
Yes.
So,
it's good.
good choice.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
very
that
good.
lane is all.
I'm very, very close to Cane Creek. Probably takes me 7 minutes to get back there. So
That's all that, that whole, area is a lot of the, Clark family.
Oh, okay.
Ager, Clark, Hamilton, they all those farms, Lion Cloud, all that area.
It was exactly, that's the one that has the stand up.
Yes, Lion
Very cool. It's great stuff to know.
And if they're interested in the live stream of this meeting on the same platform, engage.lumpkin.county.org, Board of Adjustment and Planning Board are where those development projects.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sort of decided.
Yes.
For Board of Adjustment is separate, but planning board is sort of like preliminary before it goes to speech.
Okay.
So I may look at each one of those and, you know, if a development or property is having a public hearing, like for rezoning, that's when you get plugged into no one's interested.
Okay.
So planning board and board of adjustment.
It was good talking.
And all of our boards like that are like.
He does a lot of work.
Okay, awesome.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Just when we have problems.
Thank you
Second.
guys.